So it's interesting that you all built like that familial bond kind of, because I feel like when I found you and found your music, there was something familial about you. Yeah. And I'm gonna go into like a real quick story time. Okay. So my vision is just to shine a light on artists, give them an opportunity and a space to tell their story, expose people to the music, and who these artists are as people. Just looking to introduce artists to audiences and audiences to artists. This is for them. This is for us. When I found Rob Milton, his music was on a web series that I really used to like to watch.
Black and Sexy TV?
Yes, Black and Sexy TV.
Shout out to Black and Sexy TV. They were like one of my, I want to say they were my first placement. Like they showed me so much love over and over again. So shout out to them. If I don't know, they're still out there killing it.
Well, that is where and how I found your music.
Nice.
By the way, Black and Sexy TV is not what y'all think it might be.
Oh no. No, it's not. It's actually a really dope,
I used to be like, my mom be like, what you watching, like Black and Sexy TV? She's like,
not Bow Chicka Wow Wow.
Yeah, not Bow Chicka Wow Wow. But anyway, like back in, I would say 2013, 14, 15-ish, around that time, there were a slew of just like web series that came out. And I would watch them all because I was broke and I didn't have a TV. I only had my laptop and the internet.
But also they were really good. Those shows were really good. I mean, like even to go with the Issa thing, like for me, I think my introduction to Black and Sexy TV was through Issa Rae's channel.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
So I used to like be super into these web series, and that's how I found like my indie people a lot of the times, like Alex Isley, web series, Ari Lennox, web series. And this is at the time where like people don't really know who they are, right? Gwen Bunn, web series, Rob Milton, web series. So there was a period where like I was stingy about music, and I was like, y'all don't know nothing about this. So it's funny that I said like, if you feel familial, because in a sense you kind of were without me knowing it. Yeah. So this is where the story comes in. I have a good friend that I met in college, and she had posted your song Bad Habits in her, like, she was like driving. You know how like when people drive and like they put up a snap and the song's playing in the background? So I had snapped her. I don't got Snapchat no more, so you don't gotta look for me. So I had snapped her and I was like, yo, what you know about Rob Milton? And she was like, I know Rob Milton. I was like, you don't know Rob Milton, like, I know Rob Milton.
Like, no, actually.
Yes. Like, I'm thinking your songs, right? Because I'm, like I said, I was, like, very stingy about my music and, like, cocky about, like, I know this person, you don't. I'm out of that gatekeeping thing. I want everyone to know everyone now. But at that time, I was like, girl, you don't know nothing about this. And she's like, I know him. And I said, I'm sorry, what? So we kind of share like mutual people.
Yeah, shout out to Allie, a great friend. Her family has been like family to me my whole entire life.
That's incredible.
Shout out to her mom and her brother, Matthew Whitaker, who is incredible. And like taking over the world. I love it so much.
Yes. Yeah. So with that, there's like a sub-story. So that was story A, but now it's like sub-story B. So with that song, Bad Habits, I was obsessed. Like I wore it out. Like I wore it out. And this is around like 2015-ish. I was a little late.
No, I think Bad Habit came out in 2015. I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. My years are
2020 mushed
together. Everything.
Yeah.
Truly.
So I wore this song out, and then in 2016, Issa Rae, premieres Insecure. And from that time, you can kind of see where the story's going with like this back and forth between like Issa and Lawrence and Daniel and all of this other stuff. And as the story is progressing, I'm like, they got to put Rob Milton's Bad Habits in here. I'm like, the song goes perfect for the storyline. And there was a point where they had like, they had opened up like a contest, or they had posted something on their IG stories, like, what artist do you think should be? And I was going up for Bad Habits.
Yes,
like, I was going hard.
Thank you.
And it never made it. I even held out until like the very last season because I knew they were doing like that back and forth with Issa and Lawrence. And I'm like, it would be perfect if they played Bad Habits because you're returning to something that once wasn't good. It never happened. But
what did happen?
Another song of yours was placed in Insecure.
Yeah.
Which is the one that we
Things
referenced
I should have
earlier.
said, yeah, with Georgia.
Yes.
That's funny because so I was doing the same thing. When I dropped my first project in 2012, it had a song on it called Off Key. And it was saying, like, even if I sing off key, you would still love me and call this your favorite song. Like, even if my notes are flat, even if I sound terrible, you love me.
Yeah.
And so you're going to love this. And so I was watching Awkward Black Girl like, yo, this is like basically my song. Like, you know what I mean? Issa with White J and like all of that. It was just like, I felt like it fit so well. And again, delusional because who am I to think that my song fits there? But it did. And so, but even beyond that, so I actually, and it's funny because she ends up mentioning it later. I went to the second season premiere of Awkward Black Girl.
Okay.
It was at what I call Wizard Kelly Theater. It was at Magic Johnson Theater. And we had waited in line all day, like literally like the escalator going up. They had to turn it off because it was full of people like trying to, like in line.
Yeah.
We get to the door and they're like, sorry, the people right in front of us were the last people to get in. So I'm like, that's cool, but I'm not going nowhere. Like, that's all fine and well. But I came here to meet my girl Issa. So like, I'm going to be here. And she ends up coming out and she was like, I'm so sorry to you guys. I'm going to come out and talk to you, whatever. So she comes out and I'm like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Cool. Okay, I have this song called Off Key. Because one thing about me, I'm always going to shoot my shot. And the reason why is because I never want to live in a space of regret of like, wow, you were in the room with X, Y, and Z and you said nothing out of fear. And no, it doesn't always have to be, oh, listen to my this or you should see this. Yeah. Sometimes it's really just, hi, I'm such a fan, grateful for the things that you've done, period. But sometimes it is, this needs to be, you know what I mean? Sometimes, because at the end of the day, if I don't network for me, no one is going to. And so like a lot of people, they like thrive off of like nepotism and knowing someone and it's all fine and well, but I don't have that experience. Yeah. I don't have that experience. I don't have I don't have a father in the industry. I don't have a cousin. I don't have like none of that. Right. I don't have a mentor who's like putting my name into stuff. Like I don't have that. Yeah. I just have me and my word of mouth. And that's how I've gotten where I've gotten because every time I have an opportunity, I'm going to use it. Yeah. So anyway, I told her like, yeah, I have this song Off Key. I feel like it would be perfect for your show. Da 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 da. She's like, okay, cool. Email it to me. Does she give me an email address? No. Did I find one? Yeah. Yes. Because what? So I like find her email. I email her my song, and then I start what I consider a campaign. Okay. And so from Awkward Black Girl becomes Insecure. Yep. So from the very first season of Insecure, I was posting videos of clips of the show with Bad Habit playing. Then I had, just throughout the future, I had another song. I had another song that Crayon and I did together called Almost Cried. I put clips of that with Insecure. And I'll be like, yo, tag Issa, like whatever. Then I had another song, Greater Love. Like over time, like I just continued to be consistent with it. I don't know if she was seeing it. I don't know if she was annoyed, but I knew in my gut that I belong. Like I knew that this connection, I knew it. I just knew it. And so, over time things happen. And I want to say at the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic, Again, I had, did some research, found some email addresses, and contacted some of her peoples and was like, yo, this is what I do. I have this group. Like, I sent them cousin stuff, and I was like, I think this music is perfect for this show.
Yeah.
And I think it should be a thing. And actually her label people have responded, and I talked to them back and forth for a while. And we had talked about them coming to a cousin show, but then the pandemic happened. The show didn't happen. But in the meantime, God was working separately. I had no idea that they were also talking to the label that I worked with. With Sons of the James. I didn't know that any of that was happening.
Oh, wow.
So while I'm over here trying to work on it myself, God is still clearing the way, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it ends up happening through Sons of the James, and the rest is history. Like, we just reached 2 million streams on that album.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's just honestly like getting out my dreams and just allowing my purpose to be my purpose.
Yeah. No, that's mad. Like, it's just encouraging to hear how sure you are. Because some people, like, they know that they have something special, right? Like, but that fear, like, blocks. So just me, I'm that person. I'm someone. I'm people. So just hearing you, speak in that way, it definitely inspires me to, like, go with what it is that your gut or your discernment. That's the word of the day for the show, discernment.
See, I be touching by accident. It don't even be on purpose.
I love it, though. I love it. When folks turn this EP on, when people put on Showtime, like, what is it that you're hoping that they take away from it?
A couple of things. I feel like truly, life has been crazy for the past, now it's about 2 to 3 years, even though 2020 literally feels like yesterday. Like,
but 2 years long at the same time. Like,
my mental span of time since 2020, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that happened a couple months ago, and it was August 2020. So like, it really wasn't a couple months ago. But I just feel like we've experienced a lot of like heavy stuff. And so sonically, I wanted to create something that felt good. Like, I wanted to create something that felt good, that felt Black, and that you could dance to, and just like really just feel good about yourself and feel good about what's going on. Lyrically, again, I'm a Cancer, so I very often write out of emotion. So lyrically, it was just like talking about a situation and being involved with someone, and it going left, but it didn't have to. Like, it didn't have to, and I feel like it, like, Back to Fun, for instance, is basically saying, like, this was supposed to be fun. Now it is not. How can we fix this? I feel like there's more fun that we can have if we can communicate and fix whatever this is.
See, now I'm going to be listening to it with new ears. I just be like...
And
but then, back when I first met you, now it makes sense.
And then even with Roller Coaster, like, Roller Coaster is like, it's just really a big ball of fun. But it's just also talking about a fun time that we had, like a fun experience that we had. And like, for me, like everything, not everything, but I guess everything like really means something to me.
Well, I appreciate your transparency and your candor in your music. Like, it's funny because 1 minute, you will be listening to, and what's funny about that is, like, Showtime has, like, that 60s, 70s, 80s, like, that retro-y feel to it. And I feel like growing up, like, I listened to a lot of songs and I was, like, jamming, not even realizing, like, what they were saying until I went back and revisited it. So it even translates in that way as well. Like, on the surface, it feels like just, like, a fun, like, dance jam. But when you really sit and listen, you're like, oh, he went there. He went there.
Yeah. Degrassi, it goes there.
Yes. Yes. At the end of the EP, there's a really fun song called
Theme Song.
Yes, Theme Song. And it's funny because it almost feels like an extension of Roller Coaster. Did you do that intentionally?
Yes and no. I mean, sequencing it that way, yes. But when I created it, no.
Okay, because
Yeah.
it bleeds in perfectly
Yeah.
to the point where when I first listened, I didn't realize they were two separate tracks.
Yeah, I love that.
But it was just like it sounded like a jam session. Like
Yeah.
that's what it was giving me.
Yeah. See, you know, theme song was a joke. Like, truly, when I first recorded it, I was dying laughing the whole time. Because I mean, who like runs and like does all of this and you're just singing "Leave that nigga"?
Yeah.
Like, who does that? It was just hilarious
But
to
it's
me.
so good.
It was hilarious to me, but like the longer I was recording it, I'm like, this feels like The Wiz. Like, this feels like it just felt like, again, very cinematic and very theatrical. Yeah. And so I absolutely had to reach out to Warren Dumas and get him to just like do his thing on it as well. That song is really fun, and I hope that him and I get to perform it together one day.
I hope so too,
yeah.
because like it's my favorite. Like I just loop it over and over and over and
Yes.
over because it's so short that it's one of those.
Okay.
Yes. So one last question. When people come to your shows, like to support you and their audience, like who do you hope to see? Like who do you write for? Who do you make music for? I mean, of course yourself. Like you said, it's more of like a cathartic
Yeah.
release, like whatever, you know, is going on in your life presently and you feel like you can't get out, like you'll put it in the music. But like what audience, if any, are you trying to reach? Like who do you hope like you look out in the audience and you're like, oh, like they're at my show?
So honestly, as you said, it is very cathartic for me. It's very much for me and me centered. But when it comes to like who I want in the audience, it's really everybody.
Yeah.
Granted, everything that I create is Black, very much Black owned, for us, by us.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I want to see Black people.
Right.
However, in my soul, like I believe that the songs that I write are worthy of being universal.
Okay.
And I don't write songs for them to be that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm not writing in my mind like, oh, I want this specific person to be interested in. No, I'm writing like, this is my life, this is what I feel, this is what it sounds like to me.
Right.
However, I know that what I create and the magic that I create deserves to be worldwide. And I feel like that was confirmed for me before I even realized it. I dropped my first project in 2012, like I said, 10 years ago. And the first people to respond was Japan. And I was like, I made this in my dorm.
Yeah, how y'all
like,
find
what are
me?
you doing? Like, how did y'all find me? Like, off, like straight out the gate.
Wow.
And so that at that moment I realized, and then again, my first project, a song was played on the radio in Detroit. Never even been to Detroit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never been to Japan.
Yeah.
I just know that what I create is worthy of being worldwide.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I would love for my audience to be everyone. I would. And I think that because I also think that music is one of, if not the greatest connector.
Facts.
And I think that outside of all of our prejudices, outside of all of our differences, our different opinions, I feel like the one thing that always brings people together is music.
Facts.
And I think with that, we can work to change a lot of bigotry and a lot of prejudices through our music. Because even like you said, when you listen to a lot of the music from the 70s, which is all 70s and 80s, which is what drew me to do this project, when you listen to a lot of the music, it feels good. It's very upbeat. It's very dancey. It's very exciting. But a lot of the lyrical content is very direct.
Yeah.
It's very straight to the point. Black on black on black. You know what I mean? It is very, very much like Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye. Like all of these people were, Nina Simone. All of these people were singing music about being Black, being deserving of love.
Yeah.
And being willing to love all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And so I believe that my music, I believe that I have the space and I have the gift to be able to create that same thing. And so that's what I'm hoping for.
That kind of, okay, that wasn't my last question actually, because one last thing, I promise. Maybe I don't promise, I can keep going, but I think this is the last thing. I had seen, and you had like quote tweeted it, like replied. Kev on Stage tweeted, like, you're not responsible for something, and I'm doing this in air quotes, doing well. You're just, responsible for putting it out and releasing. And you had replied to that and said, like, even if something doesn't do well, it doesn't mean that it's not good or that the art is not good. So with that, what do you like quantify or see as success, or like see as like the proverbial like having made it?
That's interesting. It's something that I still like struggle with. And even, I talked earlier about how Twitter a lot of times is it's like my space to go to when I am feeling low, to just like take my mind off of whatever that I'm stressed about, and I'm just here to say something dumb, or I'm just here to like tweet something again. And so a lot of times what I say is, as I minister, I stole this from Encourage Yourself by Dr. Lawrence, but a lot of times I tweet as I minister to you, or I minister to myself.
Right.
Because a lot of times when I'm tweeting stuff like that, I'm tweeting it, I'm putting it out into the world, but I'm really talking to me. And that was a moment where I was really talking to myself.
Yeah.
Because you can put something out today, and even if people go up for it today, 2 weeks from today, it doesn't exist anymore. Like, that's how fast music and the internet and everything is working.
It is.
2 weeks from today, someone will be asking you, when is new music coming?
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, I just put everything that I have into this.
Yeah.
Like, continue to support this. Continue to push it. Like, I too could be on so-and-so. I too could be on the Terrell Show if y'all were posting my music. Like, if when they're on social media saying, hey, I hate this about R&B music, you could be saying, at the Rob Milton does this very well, actually. Boom. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so a lot of times, again, that's what I said with social media, whereas I'm like, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
And I do sometimes feel like I know that what I created is magic. Like, I know it. I
Good stuff.
can't, it's undeniable.
Right.
And at the end of the day, not just because it's for me, but I know what is good music.
Yeah.
Good music, that's subjective, but I know what I like.
Yeah.
And I know the history, you know what I mean?
Right.
Of the music and of the industry and of the people that have paved the way. And so I just know that what I give is worthy of continuing that legacy.
Right.
But what he said really did strike something with me, because you do have to realize that, like, awesome, my album with Sons of the James has 2 million streams.
Yeah.
But if it didn't, that album is incredible.
Exactly.
Like, it's incredible without 2 million streams. With 30 streams, that album is incredible.
Right.
With 30 streams, Showtime is incredible.
Right.
However, nobody wants to be in what's the saying? Like, if you scream in the woods and like
like a tree's falling.
Yeah, like whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to give their all to something and barely get a response.
That's so hard.
However, we do have to get to the space where we realize our value, and our value as a creative is not reliant on the response.
Right.
Your value as a creative is you being a creative and doing what you're here to do. You've done
Preaching again.
But yeah, I just do think that it's important for us to know our value and know that our value is not about the response.
Yeah.
It's about the action.
I really appreciate you coming out today. Of course. It's been so much fun. Like, you're everything that I thought you would be. I was like, oh my gosh, Rob is so great.
What if I was whack? Like, what if I came and I was like steak?
I don't know.
Oh. But when I tell you this is Atlanta and it has happened to me.
Oh no.
Let me stop.
So far we've been good.
That's
so
good.
far.
But I also will say, like, when you when you are a light in the way that you are, you attract light. You also do attract darkness too, because darkness wants to be light, truly, in their heart.
Still preaching.
I'm sorry.
We are at the end of the show, and this man is still
I'm
preaching.
sorry, but it's so true. The most I can say is just continue to be that light.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So with that, we have reached the end of another episode. Rob, do you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yes, so you can find me at the Rob Milton everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, all the places. You can find my EP Showtime, which is out now, as well as the Back to Fun animated visualizer. Super cool. Cousin has a new record that's coming soon. Sons of the James might be having their first, are having their first show ever soon. There's some really cool things that have been in the pipeline for a couple of years now that are coming this year. God, amen. Can we get a prayer? A couple of prayers. But just some really cool big things that just solidify this journey for me. So just stay tuned. Yeah.
So this is a game that I kind of made up.
Okay.
And it's a mashup between Don't Forget the Lyrics and Song Association.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going to give you a lyric, and you have to try to guess, like, what the artist and the song is by finishing it out. Okay. But
See,
I would love it if you could sing.
We spent this whole time saying that I'm a music encyclopedia.
Exactly, that's what we gonna do.
And now we not finna embarrass me like this. All right, you know, black people, we don't really know lyrics. We'll be like,
no, you do. And the reason why I pulled this specific game for you is because you'll tweet out a lyric and the rest of your followers will finish out the song.
It's my favorite thing. I love it so much.
So this is where I came up with this.
There used to be a time where I would tweet out a lyric and people would be like responding to the lyric as if like you know, you like, oh, are you okay? Yes. I'm tweeting Beyonce. Like, what are you talking about? And so now I can tweet a Toni Braxton lyrics, and the whole timeline will literally finish the song for the whole day. Like, exactly, it's amazing.
So this is where I got this from. It's technically from your Twitter feed.
Hopefully, show up and show out.
All right.
We'll see.
All right. So the first one, ready?
Okay.
Sometimes we all got to swim upstream.
That's Kendrick, ain't it? No. Wait. I know that. But what is it? No, that's killing me. You ain't no saint, we all a sinner, but you put your good foot down to make your soul a winner. I respect that, and you're so fat. Plus you're all that. Oh, Jill, plus Supreme. Yes. Okay. It took me a second. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Jill Scott.
Yeah, shout out. You 1 for 1 so far. Okay. All right, we got 3 more.
My brain was, marijuana.
All right. Well, hopefully now that you've gotten the first one out of the way, it's warmed you up to the next 3. All right. So the next one is I can climb mountains, swim across the sea.
Is that Kirk Franklin? No. I'm thinking I can climb a mountain.
You better sing.
No, that's something else. Say it again.
I can climb mountains, swim across the sea.
I can climb mountains, swim across the sea. But the most frightening thing is you and me. I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears, but I'm scared of. She don't sing it that low, but I don't have the Jasmine range.
That's all right.
Yes. Shout out to Grammy Award winner Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah.
Yes. Y'all know how I feel about Jasmine.
Yeah.
So I had to sneak that in.
Oh, I'm actually really good at this. Shout out to me.
All right, next one. When you're feeling down, you should never fake it.
When you're feeling down, hold on. I know the song, but I gotta get the note right. When you're feeling down, you should never fake it. Say what's on your mind, and you'll find in time that only negative energy, it will all. I don't really know the words like that. See. when you'll be in peace with yourself. Yeah.
I'm not.
Mary is one of my favorite, like from day one, just because the honesty and she literally was singing herself out of the gutter,
Right,
like
exactly.
literally
Yeah.
singing herself out of addiction, out of abusive relationships, and that's kind of what formulated the way that I thought songwriting was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm listening to Mary J. Blige, I'm listening to Kelly Price, and these are people who are singing their life
Right.
for dear life.
Right,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
I like to, jokingly growing up, I always used to be like, why do all, black moms listen to Mary J. Blige?
Because they was in pain.
Exactly. And I'm like, now that I'm older, I get it. I'm like,
I relate to the pain.
exactly, yes.
So,
That's a fact.
yeah.
All right, last one. And it's really short,
Okay.
but I you'll get it.
Okay.
I ain't got no money.
I ain't got no money. Mm-mm-mm. What other words? I want to be your lover.
Yes.
I want to be the only one you come for.
Hey.
I don't really, black people, we struggle with words. We know,
What you think of?
ones that, yes, I did. Let me stop. I did well.
See, I'm an ad-libber.
Yeah.
I may not know, the actual lyrics, but I be knowing, the ad-libs. And can't even sing. That's the thing.
See, when I was a kid, my thing was, it was kind of in my mind, my little magic trick. But, a song will come on the radio the very first time, brand new so-and-so. The next time it came on, I knew the hook. Okay. And so my family would be like, how do you know that song already? But really, I just knew the hook. Yeah. That's the easiest part. If you just learn the chorus, you good. But then I never went back and learned the verses.
Yeah.
So I just know a lot of hooks, a whole lot of hooks.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you playing
That was
along.
fun. I feel like I'm the king of this game. I'm sure nobody got it like me since they've been up here.
You're the only one who played this so far.
Okay. So I am. So, I'm the reigning king of Jackie's game. What's up?
That's what we'll call it too.
Knock
Jackie's
my
game.
crown off.
Try it. I want to see you try it.
I want to see it.
But no, this was super fun.
Yes, it
I
was.
appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time,
Thank
and you're a busy person, so
Sometimes, or sometimes I'm just at home avoiding actual life. So
that's fair too.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Jackie. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Sorry for taking
thank
over.
you.
I'm not the host you are,
No,
but
you're fine.
I just want them to know that she's amazing, and you need to watch every episode of this show, and stay tuned for season 2 because I'm coming back.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Giving Up the Tapes. I would like for you to share, like, and subscribe, and we out. Peace.
Peace.